I stopped doing my husband's family's taxes for free after his mother told her friends I had trapped him into marriage. I'm a CPA, have been for 9 years. My husband Mark's family found out around 6 months after we started dating, and honestly they acted like they'd won the lottery. His mother Diane called me herself. We'd barely been properly introduced at that point, met twice, and asked if I'd take a look at her and his father's return. I liked Mark, I wanted his family to like me, and running a couple of straightforward 1040s wasn't a big deal. That was 5 years ago. By the time we got married, I was doing taxes for his parents, his sister Dana, Dana's husband, and his uncle Gary, who runs a small landscaping business and has actual payroll and equipment depreciation to deal with. None of them ever paid me. I never asked them to. I told myself it was how I contributed to the family, the way some people cook holiday dinners or fix everyone's cars. Every spring they'd drop off their folders, and I'd spend a few evenings on it, and Mark would say thank you, and Diane would hug me at Christmas and tell Mark he married up. I found out in October. My friend Becca texted me a screenshot. She moves in different social circles, and she'd been at some kind of charity luncheon where she ended up sitting near a woman named Patty, who is apparently one of Diane's close friends. Patty, not knowing Becca knew me, was repeating something Diane had told her, that I had gotten pregnant on purpose to lock Mark down, that he'd been getting ready to end things with me, that I had known what I was doing from the start. We have no kids. There was no pregnancy. Mark and I have actually been trying for 2 years, which Diane knows because she's asked me about it directly more than once at family dinners. I sat with the screenshot for a long time. Then I forwarded it to Mark without saying anything, and waited. He called about 20 minutes later. He already sounded uncomfortable before I said a word. He said, "Okay, I know my mom has said some things. I've heard pieces of it and I've tried to shut it down." I asked him when he had first heard it. He said a few months back, maybe more. I asked why he hadn't told me. He said he didn't want to create drama over something his mother said to her friends when it didn't affect us directly. I said, "She told people I trapped you." He said, "I know, I told her it was completely insane and to stop saying it." I said, "When did you tell her that?" Long pause. He said, "Around Easter." Easter was 6 months before that conversation. I did Diane's taxes in March. I didn't yell. I told him I needed to think, and I ended the call. January came. First week of February, Diane texted me the way she always does. Said she had everything ready. When could she drop the folder off? I read it, set my phone down, and texted back that I wasn't going to be doing taxes for the family anymore. She called within 10 minutes, asked what I meant. I said it meant exactly what it sounded like. She said, "Is something wrong? Did I do something?" She said she didn't know what I was referring to and that she really needed her return done because there was investment income this year and it was more complicated than usual. I said that did sound complicated and she should find someone qualified. She said, "But you are qualified." I said, "Yes. And I've done this for free for 5 years because I thought I was part of this family." She went quiet. Then she said, "Someone's been talking to you." I said, "You talked first. There's a difference." She started explaining herself. She'd just been worried in the beginning. She'd only said it once or twice. It was a long time ago. She never meant for it to get back to me. I let her finish. Then I said, "I need to go," and hung up. Dana called 2 days later, said she'd heard there was a misunderstanding, and asked if I could still do hers and her husband's since theirs was simpler anyway. That night, Mark asked me if I was really going to let this affect his whole family over something his mother said to her friends. I looked at him and said, "You knew for 6 months. You sat next to me at Christmas knowing. You watched me do her taxes in March. You think that didn't already affect me?" He didn't say anything. Diane paid $340 at H&R Block.